In today's fast-paced world, we're constantly told that success requires relentless hustle, constant ambition, and an unwavering drive to never settle. We're bombarded by messages urging us to go harder, push further, and never stop. But let's be real. How often does this endless chase for more actually lead to peace? Many of us find ourselves overwhelmed, juggling endless tasks and chasing after goals. Yet despite our best efforts, we often feel drained, like we're running on a treadmill that never stops. We chase success, believing it will bring satisfaction, only to find that the finish line keeps moving further away. What if there's another way to live? What if true fulfillment doesn't come from relentless striving, but from embracing a more balanced, peaceful approach to life? Ancient philosophies like Stoicism and Taoism offer a radically different way of being, one that contrasts sharply with the pressure of modern life. Instead of constantly pushing and striving, these philosophies teach us to live with inner calm, resilience, and a sense of effortless flow. This isn't about avoiding challenges or giving up on our ambitions. It's about shifting how we approach each day, embracing life's natural rhythms and cultivating a trust that doesn't rely on always achieving or winning. By focusing inward and reconnecting with what truly matters, we can step off the treadmill of external pressure and find peace within ourselves. Stoicism teaches us that true peace comes from apatheia, a state of inner calm that isn't shaken by the ups and downs of life. It's about responding to life's challenges with equanimity, knowing what's within our control and letting go of what isn't. Taoism, on the other hand, introduces the concept of wu wei, effortless action. This doesn't mean doing nothing, but rather acting in harmony with the natural flow of life, allowing things to unfold without forcing them. Together, these teachings invite us to live a life that feels grounded, steady, and free from the weight of constant striving. Life has a rhythm, just like a river that finds its way to the ocean without resistance. The more we try to control every outcome, the more drained and frustrated we become. By letting go of rigid expectations and embracing life's flow, we move with grace rather than struggle. This shift doesn't mean we give up on our goals or stop caring about achievements. It simply means we redefine success, not by how much we accomplish or accumulate, but by how at peace we are with ourselves along the way. True happiness, Stoics believe, isn't found in obtaining more things, but in mastering our desires and reactions. Taoism echoes this, teaching that by wanting less, we often gain more, a profound truth for anyone tired of the relentless demands of modern life. When we embrace this approach, something amazing happens. Life no longer feels like an uphill battle. It begins to feel like a natural unfolding, where each moment becomes meaningful. We learn to navigate challenges not by forcing outcomes but by trusting that everything has its place. This shift may be subtle at first, but over time, it becomes deeply transformative. Instead of chasing after the next goal or milestone, we start to appreciate the journey itself. We find joy not in what we achieve, but in simply being present and engaged in life. A key part of this transformation is letting go of the illusion of control. So much of our stress and anxiety comes from trying to force outcomes or fearing the uncertainty of life. But how much of what happens is truly within our control? The Stoics remind us to focus on how we respond to life's events, rather than getting consumed by what we can't change. Taoism teaches that life flows naturally, and the more we let go of rigid control, the more things seem to fall into place. This doesn't mean surrendering to chaos. It means learning to dance with it. We shift from resisting life's rhythms to responding to them with clarity and wisdom. Challenges become opportunities for growth, not burdens to avoid. Every setback becomes a chance to build resilience, strength, and a deeper understanding of ourselves. As we journey through this path, we begin to realize the power of simplicity. In a world obsessed with more possessions, more achievements, more status, choosing less can feel incredibly liberating. Both Stoicism and Taoism remind us that true happiness doesn't come from external possessions or status, but from aligning with our inner values and stripping away what doesn't truly matter. This shift in perspective also transforms our relationships. When we stop trying to control or change others, we create space for genuine connection. Instead of holding on to expectations or judgments, we learn to accept others as they are, creating harmony in our interactions. This acceptance leads to deeper, more compassionate relationships, free from the friction of unmet expectations. As we embrace this way of being, a newfound trust emerges, not only in ourselves but in life itself. When we stop trying to control every step, we open ourselves up to the beauty of the unknown, trusting that life has a way of unfolding as it should. This trust doesn't eliminate challenges, but it changes how we face them. Instead of reacting with anxiety or worry, we approach life with curiosity, calm, and confidence. So, what lies ahead on this path? A life that flows with less resistance, where peace replaces stress and resilience overcomes frustration. The way of effortless living isn't about avoiding life's complexities. It's about embracing a way of being that's engaged yet relaxed, calm yet active. It's realizing that our power lies not in controlling every detail, but in aligning with the rhythms of life and responding with wisdom. By embracing these ancient philosophies, we discover a deeper kind of joy. A joy that doesn't depend on winning or achieving, but on simply being fully present in each moment. This joy is unshakable because it's rooted in something deeper than external success or failure. It's a joy that comes from living in harmony, knowing that no matter what happens, we have the inner peace and strength to meet it fully. This journey isn't about perfection. It's about taking one step at a time toward a life that feels whole, balanced, and naturally aligned. It's a path that invites us to let go of the need to always push, control, or achieve, and instead, walk the path of true peace. Are you ready to release the pressure to always strive, to stop forcing life into a mold, and to embrace a more peaceful, effortless way of being? This journey awaits, not as a distant destination, but as a new way of living that brings richness to each moment, revealing a deeper sense of purpose and joy than you might have ever imagined. By embracing the wisdom of Wu Wei and apatheia, we can live not from a place of struggle, but from a place of ease and flow. These teachings don't ask us to retreat from life, but to step into it more fully, responding with a calm mind and open heart. By learning to flow with life, rather than against it, we discover that the most profound achievements often come when we let go of the need for control and allow life to unfold as it will. Knowing when to act and when to let things unfold naturally is a powerful practice that brings a deep sense of peace. It's a peace that remains steady, even in the face of change. This state of inner tranquility allows us to live without constantly striving or fearing the future. We're free to engage fully with life, to savor each moment, and to find joy in simply being, secure in the knowledge that we are in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. As we deepen on this path of peace and resilience, we realize that cultivating calm and non-forcing isn't an end point. It's just the beginning. We learn the art of ease, acting without overexertion, responding without being overwhelmed. But there's another layer to this practice, one that may be even more challenging yet deeply liberating: letting go of control. The instinct to control is deeply embedded in us. It feels like security, as if by controlling the world around us, we can guarantee things will go our way. Yet, even when we do manage to grasp the reins, control slips away, leaving us with stress, fear, and frustration. Here, we encounter a transformative lesson drawn from the wisdom of Stoicism and Taoism: a life free from clinging to outcomes. Embracing the unpredictable, learning to ride its waves rather than resist them, becomes a liberating art form. Through this shift, we discover the freedom of letting go, not of responsibility, but of the need to control. We begin to trust in the natural flow of life, even when it doesn't follow the script we had in mind. Trusting life is not about passively surrendering to whatever happens, nor is it about ignoring risks or avoiding challenges. It's about moving with life's rhythm instead of fighting against it, letting go of our need to micromanage, and instead learning to embrace whatever comes with grace. We start to see unpredictability not as an enemy, but as a teacher. It shows us how to adapt, grow, and thrive, even when we can't control the outcomes. This is true freedom, a freedom rooted in resilience, flexibility, and the quiet confidence that no external change can unbalance us. Trusting life in this way requires a fundamental shift in how we view security. We're often taught that control equals safety, that if we manage everything, we can avoid chaos. But life, with all its unpredictability, will always slip through our tightest grasp. And while control might offer a temporary illusion of stability, it usually brings more stress and strain. Letting go of control can be intimidating, but in this surrender, we find liberation, a release from the weight of trying to control everything. Trusting life doesn't mean giving up our dreams or disengaging from our goals. Instead, it means choosing to live in harmony with the present moment, trusting that each twist and turn along the way offers its own lessons. As we let go, we begin to trust in the timing of life. We become more patient with the process, less anxious about the future, and more present in each unfolding moment. We start to view life not as a series of events we must orchestrate, but as a process we're a part of. Patience in this sense isn't passivity. It's an active readiness to move when the moment is right without the need to force things. A big part of this trust is learning to embrace change. Change is constant, and resistance to it often stems from fear, the fear of loss, of uncertainty, of the unknown. But life itself is change. People grow, seasons shift, and circumstances evolve. By resisting change, we're resisting life itself. Embracing the flow of change doesn't mean we ignore the risks or overlook the challenges. It means accepting that change is part of growth. The more we welcome it, the more adaptable we become, able to adjust course when needed, without losing our sense of self. Letting go of the need to control also builds resilience. When we stop trying to manage every detail, we become more open to life's ebb and flow. Every challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen our resolve. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, we learn to see them as part of the natural rhythm of life, moments that help shape and refine us. Resilience doesn't mean being unshakable. It's about being flexible, like a tree bending in the wind but staying rooted. We bend, we adjust, but we don't break. Trusting life gives us the faith to believe in our capacity to respond wisely and calmly, even when things don't go as planned. We learn that the outcomes we once clung to aren't as important as how we respond to the unexpected. In this space of trust, we also discover a deeper connection to ourselves. When we stop trying to control, we become more attuned to our inner wisdom, to our intuition, and to the rhythm of our own being. We become less concerned with seeking validation from the outside world, and more in tune with what truly matters to us. This self-awareness allows us to live authentically, aligned with our values, rather than conforming to the expectations of others. Letting go of control opens the door to greater compassion. When we stop resisting the unpredictability of life, we begin to see that everyone is facing their own challenges, their own uncertainties. This awareness fosters empathy, reminding us that we're all just doing our best to navigate the unknown. We become more patient, less judgmental, and more understanding of others' struggles. Compassion deepens our relationships, building a stronger sense of connection and purpose. As we trust life's flow, we begin to see that things often fall into place in ways we couldn't have planned. Sometimes a setback leads to an unexpected opportunity. What seems like an ending opens the door to a new beginning. This doesn't mean everything always works out perfectly, but it does mean that life has its own way of unfolding, often beyond our comprehension. In letting go of control, we make space for spontaneity. Life's surprises no longer feel like disruptions, but opportunities for exploration. We're free to follow unexpected paths, try new things, and meet new people without the constraints of a rigid plan. This kind of spontaneity isn't reckless. It's the freedom to embrace life as it comes, knowing that even detours have their own wisdom and beauty. Through this process, we also become more present in each moment. When we stop obsessing over the past or the future, we can fully experience the richness of the present. We begin to appreciate the simple moments, like a warm cup of tea, a conversation, or a quiet walk. These small experiences become sources of deep joy and gratitude. Living in the present moment brings clarity and peace. We stop getting lost in thoughts of what might have been or what's coming next. Instead, we experience life as it is, authentically and fully. In this space, we are no longer burdened by regrets or anxieties. We are rooted in the present, and in this rootedness, we find a kind of freedom that only the present can offer. This freedom isn't the absence of challenges, but the ability to face them without fear. When we trust life, we approach each experience as part of our journey, a stepping stone toward growth. This shift allows us to be more resilient, more grounded, and more open to what life has to offer. It's in the present moment that we find peace, not from avoiding life's complexities, but from embracing them with an open heart. By trusting the flow of life and letting go of the need to control, we tap into the essence of freedom. The freedom to live fully, to engage deeply, and to experience each moment as it comes. This freedom is rooted in the understanding that we don't need to control life because we are capable of navigating whatever comes our way with calm, confidence, and grace. And it is in this acceptance of the present moment, with all its uncertainties and surprises, that we find true peace. Living in the present moment allows us to break free from the grip of old habits or future anxieties. By choosing our responses consciously, we align more closely with our values, becoming more intentional in our actions. This mindfulness helps us break the cycle of automatic reactions, bringing us a deeper sense of awareness and control over our choices. As we embrace the present, we find ourselves living more authentically, capable of creating the life we desire. Being present also enhances our appreciation of time. We begin to recognize that each moment is unique and fleeting, never to be repeated. This awareness encourages us to savor life's experiences fully, knowing that time is a precious resource. Instead of letting moments pass us by unnoticed, we learn to immerse ourselves in each one, appreciating even the simplest moments. This shift fosters gratitude and a greater sense of connection to the world around us. Living in the now allows us to release the need for perfection. Perfectionism often arises from fears about the future or regrets about the past, but when we embrace the present, we recognize that life is complete as it is, in all its imperfections. This realization frees us from the constant drive to fix, improve, or control every detail. We become more accepting of life's natural flow, finding ease in simply being. This presence also helps us let go of rigid expectations. When we are rooted in the present, we stop imposing standards based on past experiences or future hopes. Instead, we approach life with an open mind, appreciating people and situations for what they truly are, rather than what we think they should be. This openness cultivates a sense of peace, allowing us to live more fully and authentically. By being present, we reconnect with our senses. Often our minds are preoccupied with past regrets or future worries, causing us to lose touch with the richness of the physical world around us. But when we focus on the now, we become more attuned to the sights, sounds, smells, and sensations that fill each moment. This heightened awareness deepens our experience, bringing life into sharper focus and helping us appreciate the beauty in the everyday. Living in the present also fosters a sense of unity with life. When we are fully engaged in the moment, we feel a deep connection to the world around us, a sense of belonging that transcends words. We begin to see that life is not something that happens to us, but something we are intricately connected to, part of a larger, interconnected whole. This realization brings a sense of peace, reminding us that we are not alone in our journey. In addition, living in the now strengthens our intuition. Without the distractions of past and future concerns, we can more clearly hear our inner voice, guiding us toward decisions that align with our true values. As we build trust in our instincts, we become more confident in our ability to navigate life's uncertainties. This trust empowers us to move through life with greater clarity and purpose. The practice of presence also brings humility. By fully engaging with the present moment, we come to appreciate the vastness and mystery of life. We realize that there is always more to learn and explore. Living in the now allows us to release the need for control. When we focus on the present, we become less preoccupied with manipulating outcomes or planning every detail. Instead, we allow life to unfold naturally, trusting that each moment has its own wisdom. This release of control brings a sense of freedom and peace as we no longer feel the weight of constant effort or expectation. Living in alignment with the natural world takes this practice a step further. By embracing the rhythm of nature, we learn to let life flow with ease, without resistance or unnecessary interference. Taoists call this Wu Wei, or effortless action, acting in harmony with the world as it is, without trying to force or control outcomes. This approach to life fosters a deep sense of peace and fulfillment, as we let go of the need to perfect or control everything. In this way, we become more adaptable, like nature itself, learning to bend without breaking in response to life's changes. This flexibility is not about passivity, but about understanding when to act and when to let go. It's about moving with the flow of life, responding to its rhythms, rather than trying to impose our own will upon it. Living in harmony with nature's flow also teaches us patience. Nature does not hurry. It grows at its own pace, according to its cycles. By embracing this patience, we learn to trust the timing of our own lives, knowing that things will unfold when the time is right. This patience is not passive. It's a readiness to act decisively when the moment calls for it. The Taoist principle of Ziran, spontaneity, teaches us that life flows best when we allow it to unfold naturally. This spontaneity is not impulsive or chaotic. It arises from a deep connection to the present moment, where we are guided by our intuition and trust in the process. By living spontaneously, we allow life to surprise us, finding beauty and meaning in each moment as it comes. Similarly, Stoic philosophy teaches us that we cannot control life's events, but we can control our reactions to them. By accepting life's unfolding with grace, we free ourselves from suffering and find peace in our responses. This acceptance does not mean resignation, but a willingness to align with the natural order, trusting that each moment has its purpose. Living in alignment with nature's rhythm also fosters a sense of gratitude. When we accept life as it is, we begin to appreciate the beauty of each moment, even in its challenges. This gratitude arises from understanding that every experience, whether joyful or difficult, is part of the natural flow of life. It's a reminder that each moment is a gift, offering opportunities for growth and learning. Simplicity is another gift that comes from living in harmony with nature. Nature thrives in simplicity, free from unnecessary adornments. By simplifying our own lives, we create space for what truly matters, letting go of distractions and focusing on the essentials. This simplicity allows us to live more fully, unburdened by the pressures of materialism or social expectations. In embracing the natural flow, we also cultivate resilience. Just as nature adapts to changes in the environment, we too learn to adapt to life's challenges. This resilience isn't about resisting change, but about staying grounded and adjusting our course when necessary, knowing that we are part of something larger than ourselves. Finally, aligning with the rhythm of life fosters a deeper awareness of our interconnectedness. Just as every element in nature is part of a greater whole, we are connected to the world around us. This awareness encourages us to act with compassion, recognizing that our well-being is linked to the well-being of all life. We begin to see ourselves as caretakers of the earth, responsible for nurturing and protecting the world we share. Living in alignment with nature also teaches us to release attachments. In nature, nothing is permanent. Everything is in a state of flow. When we embrace this rhythm, We let go of attachments to specific outcomes or possessions, freeing ourselves from the fear of loss. This release brings peace, as we become more focused on living in the moment, appreciating what is, rather than worrying about what might be. Ultimately, by embracing the flow of nature, we cultivate a sense of self-trust. Just as nature moves with confidence, fulfilling its purpose without doubt, we too learn to trust our instincts and abilities. This self-trust is not arrogance, but a grounded assurance that comes from understanding our place within the larger whole. We no longer feel the need to compare ourselves to others, but walk our own path with confidence and purpose. Living in harmony with nature's rhythm brings us into greater mindfulness. By attuning ourselves to the present, we become more aware of life's subtle shifts and changes, able to respond with clarity and intention. Through this alignment, we begin to experience life with a sense of wonder. We see the beauty in nature's cycles and the mystery that unfolds in each moment. This sense of awe brings lightness to our hearts and allows us to approach each day with curiosity and gratitude, open to the surprises life has to offer. In embracing vulnerability, we open ourselves to growth. Just as nature embraces change and transformation, we learn to embrace our own imperfections and uncertainties. This vulnerability becomes a source of strength, allowing us to be real, honest, and compassionate. Through this, we connect with ourselves and others, recognizing that we are all part of the same natural cycle, growing and learning in our own way. Aligning with nature's rhythm invites us to find purpose not in external accomplishments, but in simply being. Nature doesn't strive for recognition or success. It simply exists and fulfills its role. In the same way, we learn to find purpose in living authentically, embracing the journey itself rather than constantly seeking external validation. This purpose, rooted in our connection to the natural world, is a source of deep fulfillment and peace. When we release the need for external approval and align with our true selves, we experience a deeper sense of fulfillment. Our worth becomes rooted in the authenticity of our actions, not in what we accomplish or how others perceive us. Tuning into the natural rhythms of life brings us peace, as we understand that everything unfolds in its own time. We learn to embrace both joy and struggle as parts of a greater cycle, reminding us that we don't need to rush or force anything. Instead, we can face each moment with a steady heart, trusting our ability to navigate the ups and downs of life with grace and resilience. This inner calm is not a passive state. It is a dynamic balance that empowers us to move through life with confidence. As we become more aligned with nature, we find a sanctuary within ourselves, an inner space untouched by the chaos around us. In a world that often overlooks stillness, we discover that it is in these quiet moments where true strength resides. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It is an active, powerful presence that grounds us even amidst the storms of life. It brings clarity, resilience, and a deep connection to our true selves. In the quiet, we gain a sense of perspective. We see things as they truly are, unclouded by external distractions. Our minds clear, and we can make decisions based on intuition rather than societal expectations. The practice of stillness deepens our self-awareness, helping us better understand our inner desires, habits, and motivations. With this understanding, we are empowered to act in ways that are aligned with our true values, rather than reacting out of habit or conditioning. Stillness teaches us patience. In a world that demands instant results, we learn the art of waiting, observing, and trusting that things will unfold in their own time. By relinquishing the need to control every outcome, we develop a peaceful resilience. We become less swayed by life's highs and lows, finding balance in the quiet spaces in between. This inner peace is not dependent on external circumstances but comes from within. The power of stillness also shifts our perspective on life. What once seemed urgent or overwhelming begins to fade in importance. We recognize that many of our worries are fleeting, and in doing so we free ourselves from the constant pressure to chase after something more. In stillness, we come face to face with our thoughts and emotions, learning to accept them without judgment. This self-acceptance allows us to live authentically, releasing the pressure to be anything other than who we are. The connection we find in stillness also helps us cultivate resilience. Life is unpredictable, but when we practice being present and centered, we are better equipped to face challenges with a calm and steady heart. Stillness doesn't mean avoiding difficulty. It means facing it with inner strength and an open heart. Creativity flourishes in the quiet as well. When we stop rushing and clear away the clutter of our busy minds, inspiration has room to arise naturally. With space to think freely, we begin to see new possibilities, solving problems with fresh ideas that we might have missed in the rush of daily life. Stillness is also a refuge from the demands of the world. In a chaotic world, we can retreat into this inner sanctuary whenever we need peace. This space within ourselves is always available, offering us the strength to navigate whatever comes our way with calmness and grace. The quiet teaches us gratitude. In moments of stillness, we become more aware of the simple, often overlooked joys, the warmth of the sun, the sound of birds, the feeling of earth beneath our feet. This sense of appreciation brings fulfillment, reminding us that true happiness is not found in external achievements, but in the quiet moments that we often take for granted. Stillness also nurtures humility. By embracing the quiet, we recognize that life is far more complex than we can fully understand. This humility doesn't diminish our worth, but instead opens us to the vastness of existence, encouraging us to approach life with an open heart and a willingness to learn. When we learn to detach from outcomes, we free ourselves from the constant pressure to control life. Letting go of rigid expectations brings a profound peace, allowing us to focus on the present moment without obsessing over how things should turn out. This detachment doesn't mean we stop caring or striving for goals, but that we learn to enjoy the journey itself, appreciating each step along the way without being fixated on the end result. Releasing attachment to outcomes cultivates resilience. When we're not tied to a specific result, setbacks no longer have the same power over us. We learn to view obstacles as part of the greater journey, each challenge an opportunity for growth. Letting go of attachment also brings freedom from the fear of failure. We start to see failure as simply part of the learning process, not a reflection of our worth. This courage to fail and to try again is a powerful gift that opens us to new possibilities and adventures. Finally, detachment enhances our relationships. When we let go of the need for control or recognition, we are able to give more freely and listen more deeply. Our relationships become more meaningful, grounded in genuine presence rather than the need for something in return. In stillness, we find the clarity and peace that allow us to connect more authentically with others. In embracing stillness and letting go of attachment, we discover a deeper, more lasting peace, a calm that remains steady even when life doesn't unfold as we expect. This peace comes from within, a reminder that our true strength lies not in controlling the world around us, but in mastering the quiet spaces within. We are often encouraged to approach life with an open heart and an open mind, ready to learn rather than force our own agenda onto every situation. This openness brings a sense of peace, a reminder that we don't need to have all the answers. Humility, in this sense, is a quiet strength that allows us to remember we are part of something much larger than ourselves. Detachment from specific outcomes enhances our relationships. When we become attached to particular expectations, we put pressure on others to act or respond in ways that align with our desires. But by letting go of these expectations, we give people the freedom to be themselves without the burden of trying to meet our needs. This acceptance deepens our connection, allowing us to appreciate others for who they are, rather than who we wish them to be. In this freedom, relationships can grow, as love is rooted not in control, but in understanding and acceptance. Letting go of attachment also makes us more adaptable. Life is full of twists and turns, and when we cling tightly to one specific outcome, we often struggle to adjust. But by releasing that attachment, we become more flexible, more open to change. This adaptability is a powerful reminder that we are capable of navigating whatever life throws our way without losing ourselves in the process. It brings a sense of freedom, showing us that we don't need things to unfold in a particular way in order to be okay. Detachment encourages us to live more authentically. Often, our attachment to outcomes stems from a need to meet others' expectations or to prove ourselves. But when we let go of this need for validation, we can live in alignment with our true values and desires. This authenticity becomes a source of strength, reminding us that we don't need to conform in order to be worthy. True happiness comes from living in accordance with who we truly are. Letting go of attachment also cultivates a deep sense of gratitude. When we're fixated on a specific result, we can easily overlook the blessings that already surround us. Releasing that attachment opens our hearts to the abundance of the present moment, reminding us that happiness doesn't depend on external achievements but on appreciating life's simple, meaningful moments. By letting go of attachment, we also discover an inner contentment that is not dependent on the outer world. Often our happiness feels conditional, based on whether things go the way we want them to. But when we release that dependency, we find a peace that remains, even when things don't go as planned. This contentment becomes a source of strength, reminding us that we don't need perfection to be happy. It is a sanctuary we can return to whenever life becomes challenging. A key to peace is recognizing the limits of our control. We all have an inherent desire to shape our circumstances, to steer life toward what feels secure. Yet beneath this impulse lies the truth that we cannot control everything. Life is ever-changing, and real strength lies not in trying to manipulate every situation, but in accepting the flow of life. Resilience comes from within, and this shift in perspective allows us to embrace life's uncertainties with open arms. Accepting that we cannot control everything brings peace. It's humbling to realize that we are part of a much larger, interconnected world, one that no single person can fully understand or direct. When we accept this reality, we free ourselves from the need to bear the weight of the world. We can focus on what we can control, our thoughts, responses, and actions, without being consumed by the impossible task of controlling everything else. This acceptance of uncertainty opens the door to adaptability. Life's unpredictability doesn't mean we should abandon planning. It means we can be flexible, responding to whatever arises with calm and confidence. Resilience is not about having all the answers, but about being ready to respond with clarity and strength. This shift also fosters patience. When we accept that not everything will go according to plan, we become more willing to wait, allowing things to unfold naturally. Patience, in this sense, is not passive. It's an act of confidence that life will move at its own pace, and when the time is right, we will act. Letting go of control helps to free us from anxiety. We often worry about managing everything perfectly, but when we release that pressure, we open ourselves to peace. We realize that our worth is not defined by how well we control outcomes, but by how we respond to each moment. This freedom from anxiety is a gift, helping us approach life with ease, unburdened by the constant need to control. When we stop clinging to control, we find the courage to face the unknown. Much of our need for control is rooted in fear of uncertainty or fear of what might happen if things don't go our way. But when we let go of this need, we discover an inner resilience that allows us to navigate uncertainty with an open heart. We realize that our strength does not depend on stability but on our ability to adapt and thrive, no matter what happens. This courage brings humility. The desire to control often stems from a belief that we know best, that we can shape life to fit our ideals. But accepting the limits of our control is a recognition that life is far more complex than we can fully understand. This humility is not a weakness. It's a reminder of our place within the larger scheme of things. It allows us to approach each moment with openness, ready to learn from whatever life has to offer. When we let go of control, it enhances our relationships. Trying to control others only creates tension and distance. But when we accept that we cannot dictate how others feel or act, we allow them to be themselves. This creates deeper, more genuine connections, built on acceptance and understanding rather than the pressure to change. True love is not about control, it's about embracing others for who they are. Letting go of control also allows us to flow with life's changes. When we cling too tightly to rigid plans or expectations, we struggle to adjust. But by releasing our need to control, we become more flexible, moving gracefully with life's ups and downs. This adaptability is a reminder that resilience is not about resisting change, but about moving through it with confidence and ease. Finally, letting go of control helps us live authentically. When we try to control everything, we often end up conforming to others' expectations or societal norms. But by releasing that need, we can live in alignment with our true values. This authenticity is a source of strength, reminding us that we don't need to conform to be worthy. Happiness comes from living as our true selves. Releasing control allows us to cultivate gratitude, contentment, and peace. It frees us from the anxiety of needing to manage every outcome and invites us to embrace life's natural flow with trust and patience. As we let go of the illusion of control, we discover a deeper, more meaningful way of living, one that is rooted in authenticity, adaptability, and a deep sense of inner peace. Every experience offers us an opportunity to learn and grow, regardless of the outcome. By accepting imperfection, we can find peace, knowing that we don't need to be flawless to be effective. This mindset invites effortless action, encouraging us to trust our intuition in a world that often prioritizes logic and control. Intuition, while sometimes overlooked, is a powerful guide that aligns us with our values and inner wisdom. Trusting our intuition is not about abandoning reason, it's about finding harmony between thought and feeling. By tuning into our inner voice, we discover a direction that feels authentic and empowering. This self-trust brings confidence, a gentle reminder that we are capable of navigating life's challenges with grace and ease. The practice of Wu invites us to move with intention, encouraging mindfulness in every action. Often, we act out of habit without fully considering why. Wu prompts us to bring awareness to each step, helping us find meaning in even the smallest tasks. This intentional approach fosters fulfillment, reminding us that every action is an expression of our values and an opportunity to contribute to the world. In a culture that often prioritizes productivity, Wu helps us strike a balance between work and rest. Rest is not a luxury. It is essential for sustained action. By honoring both work and rest, we create a rhythm that supports long-term well-being and success. This balance is a reminder that we don't need to exhaust ourselves to be productive. We simply need to recognize the value in both action and renewal. Wu also teaches us to let go of the constant need for progress. In a world that often measures worth by achievement, we are encouraged to find contentment in the present moment. This doesn't mean we stop striving for growth, but rather that we learn to appreciate where we are and find joy in the journey itself. By embracing the now, we can experience peace, knowing that fulfillment doesn't come from always moving forward, but from being present where we are. Life's unpredictability often brings uncertainty, and Wu teaches us to flow with change rather than resist it. Flexibility is key, not as a surrender, but as a way to stay aligned with our purpose while adapting to life's twists. This adaptability builds resilience, reminding us that we have the strength to navigate change with confidence. Wu also encourages us to release the need for external validation. True satisfaction comes from within. We do not need others' approval to feel fulfilled. Our worth is inherent. By embracing this inner validation, we free ourselves to act authentically, guided by our own values rather than the expectations of others. At the heart of Wu is the cultivation of inner trust. Many of our struggles stem from a lack of trust in both life's unfolding and our own abilities. But by developing trust in ourselves, we learn to approach challenges with courage, even in the face of the unknown. This trust empowers us to face life with openness, accepting that while we cannot control everything, we are capable of navigating whatever comes our way. Building inner trust requires self-awareness, understanding our values, strengths, and limitations. This isn't about harsh self-criticism, but rather a gentle acceptance of who we are. It's through this self-acceptance that we lay the foundation for trust, realizing that we are worthy of our own faith, flaws and all. Trusting ourselves also means letting go of the need for certainty. Life is inherently uncertain, and by accepting this, we release the anxiety of trying to control every outcome. This freedom allows us to move forward with curiosity, confident that we can handle whatever challenges arise. Our intuition, when trusted, becomes a powerful ally, guiding us toward authenticity. Often we second-guess our instincts, especially when they don't align with logic or external advice. But by listening to this inner wisdom, we tap into a deeper source of guidance, one that strengthens our connection to ourselves and empowers us to act with greater clarity. Embracing the unknown with courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. It means moving forward despite it. This courage is a quiet strength, reminding us that we can face the uncertainties of life with grace and confidence. As we trust ourselves more, we open up to new possibilities, adapting with ease to life's changes and challenges. In relationships, building inner trust transforms our connections. When we trust ourselves, we are able to trust others more fully, allowing them the space to be themselves without trying to control or change them. Harmony in relationships doesn't require agreement on everything, but rather a mutual respect for each person's individuality. By releasing expectations, we allow for more authentic, open connections. It means moving forward despite it. This courage is a quiet strength, reminding us that we can face the uncertainties of life with grace and confidence. As we trust ourselves more, we open up to new possibilities, adapting with ease to life's changes and challenges. In relationships, building inner trust transforms our connections. When we trust ourselves, we are able to trust others more fully, allowing them the space to be themselves without trying to control or change them. Harmony in relationships doesn't require agreement on everything, but rather a mutual respect for each person's individuality. By releasing expectations, we allow for more authentic, open connections. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Stoic philosophy and found it helpful, don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone who could benefit from its teachings, and subscribe to the channel for more insightful content on Stoicism and personal growth. Your support helps us reach more people and continue creating valuable content. Stay stoic.